And here's where I confuse everybody. You see, this is a great idea. This is a fantastic idea. This is how you deal with the problem. One of the biggest mistakes our government has made in the last 50 years was when Bill Clinton took office and he reduced our domestic military. I'm not a big proponent of putting army bases in every country all over the planet, but we should have all sorts of them everywhere here. You see, what this does, when you reduce the domestic military, it fosters distrust amongst our own people, our own civilian sector. I am very blessed to live in St. Augustine, Florida, very close to Naval Air Station Jacksonville, Mayport. There are all sorts of military personnel walking around all the time. Walmart, Target, you name it, everywhere. And you see that they are just people like you and me. No different. Same concerns. They buy the same stuff. They use the same coupons. They drive the same cars. Yeah, they're walking around in camos, or they're walking around in Class A's or B's or whatever. But they're human beings. They're not these strange, terrifying creatures that fly black helicopters and are ready to come snatch you away from your family. But when all you ever see of the military are these stories about this happens overseas or that happens overseas or this kind of stuff, it fosters distrust. You see, I was here during this time. Back in 1989, there was a major earthquake in the center coast of California during the World Series. I'm sure a lot of you remember this. Collapsed the Bay Bridge. The U.S. Army, the U.S. military, dropped what we were doing, went out into the community, and helped our friends and neighbors recover. That's what the military is there for. That's what we're here for. I have said so many times that before we decide to build some stupid wall, that should be our last line of defense. We should quadruple the funding to the 4th Fleet. Quadruple the funding to the border guards at the real crossings that are still going to be there, where most of the drugs and most of the illegal immigration comes through. Why don't we try that first? Why don't we try investing in the American people first? Rebuilding our military here at home. Most people in the military do not count amongst their daily activities the operation of a deadly weapon. They don't. I mean, there's training, and there's all sorts of times when you have to go out and make sure that you do know what your job is, but the vast majority of the time you're, I hate to say it, bored. But that's a good thing. That's a good, place to put our money. In training our young people and teaching them how to work as a team and creating an environment where discipline is the rule of the day, where you count on each other, where you do things the same way every day the same way. It's an environment, it is something that I think all young people should have to go through for at least a couple of years, because it carries with it benefits that you can't really document into civilian life. And I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about here. If we want to fix this issue down on the border, we need to put people down there, not just stacks of bricks. Because here's the thing. If something good can come from this foray into Iraq and this fool's errand into Afghanistan, it should be this. These guys who have gone over there and have served will very easily now be able to discern the difference between a Honduran, Nicaraguan, Mexican, and a Pakistani, or an Afghani, or an Iraqi, or a Saudi. They'll be able to look at a group of people and go, okay, those people over there, yeah, that's an old woman and her kids, and yeah, okay, bring them over here. You know, they need asylum, they need to be fed, and let's give them some water, and let's take care of them and figure out what we can do with them. But Abu and Haji over here, yeah, we got a special place for you. We got a free trip to Cuba for you. You're going to love it. It's gorgeous down there. We're going to give you, pretty orange uniforms to wear. It's going to be awesome. That's what we need to do. And I know this is probably going to confuse a lot of my liberal friends, but yeah, I agree. We absolutely have to secure our border. This is an argument of method. The wall is a gimmick. The wall is stupid in the sense that it's going to take decades to build, even if they started right now. And every wall that has ever been built has been used as a tool by the opposition to have it torn down. They'll find a way to breach it. They'll find a way around it. They'll come through the Caribbean, and it'll be $25 billion wasted. And it'll just sit out there in the desert. And have you ever thought about, if you build a wall, you got to man the thing. You got to maintain the thing. You know, it's a desert. You know, no wall is just going to sit out there by itself and just, you know, there's going to have to be some human interaction. And since you're going to have people out there anyway, why not take the training that we already have put our guys through and put it to good use now? You know, these people that are coming here that really are just good, decent, honest people looking for a start, we do have these abandoned military bases all over the place. We have places where we can temporarily house folks. And we can clean this stuff up. I mean, imagine, okay, let's just go ahead and kick the power back on. Let's get some water run into one of these buildings and say, okay, while you're here, you see all that brush and cover? That's going to be your job. It's called casual duty. We had it in the military all the time. Give these guys a bucket of paint. You know, give them a mop, give them a broom, give them some landscaping equipment, give them, you know, and they can serve purposes, good, decent purposes, while they're here. You know, we got chow halls all set up. Wouldn't be that expensive. And we could work together. We could say, okay, yeah, we're not going to just let them come here and disappear. You know, you want to come here and you want to have asylum and you want to have your day in court. Okay, fine. We're going to take you to Fort Ord. And while you're there, you're going to be helping us restore the base. Give them work. Believe me, most of these people got no problem with hard work. You see them. What do they do when they come here? They work in factories. They work in landscaping. They work in construction. They work as maids in hotels. They work as all sorts of service industry folks. Just wanting an opportunity. And yes, there are bad apples. You're absolutely right. There are bad apples. There are criminals. And while they're here, the military we have now, the guys we have now, will be able to ferret that out. That won't be hard for them to do. They've just spent 15 years over there dealing with these people. They'll be able to know the difference. Domestic military is a great idea. We did this too. Toys for Tots. Operation Toy Drop. Santa's Ruck March. Fill the boat toy drive. I mean, and there's countless other ways the military can help a community as well in time of need. If there's ever an issue with a power outage. One of the things we did was direct traffic. I remember when there was no power in Monterey and in San Francisco. We could come out on demand and we could help. All sorts of civilian authorities do all sorts of different things, while simultaneously helping our young people turn the corner from being these entitled, self-involved babies that think the world is their oyster, you know, and that everything is just going to be handed to them and given to them, to actual functioning, contributing members of society. And like you said, you don't have to turn them into these mindless killers to do it. I was a linguist, rear with the gear. You know, am I? And there's a million other things you can teach them to do as well. And if there's a civilian sector job, I guarantee you there's a military equivalent of it. And so I just wanted to have a video to say that, look, conservatives, I've said I'm a conservative, I'm on your side. And this is a great idea. I hope he follows through with this. I hope he has that epiphany about the Fourth Fleet. And the last thing I'm going to say about entitlement, and I don't want to leave on a negative note, but I just wanted to cover this. This was entitlement. For the last 8 years, all these channels on YouTube have had a free rein to come out and yammer on, attacking the administration of the last administration. Say whatever you want, make up whatever lie you want, and get paid for it. And now all of a sudden, and the reason that you were making money doing that was because there was a bunch of end-of-the-world right-wing advertisers that were helping YouTube be profitable for doing it. Well, when the mine apocalypse didn't happen in 2012 and the current administrator took office, there's no longer any profit in those types of things. And YouTube, being a Alphabet Incorporated for-profit platform, now has made decisions that's good for its bottom line. And all of a sudden people are whining and crying about what they're entitled to do and what they're entitled to say and what they're entitled to be paid to say. So, the reason I brought this up at the end is because I think it is a symptom of a problem that could be fixed. A problem that could be fixed by just giving our young people the right attitude going into the world. So, anyway, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.